Today we will see one question asked in JavaScript interview like this. So let me create a array of object like this. Instead of age, here we can give role. Yeah, let's create a admin. Let's create 4 more objects. Admin and plus user and guest user. So here we create 5 objects for that. And in question they are asked like you have to group based on the role. Like here if two admin is there, then you have to group inside one array these two object. So let's see how we can do. So let's create a variable r equal to, as we know we can use reduce. Reduce is a method of array, so we can pass like this. We need to add a initializer and one indexer to pass that object. Here we initialize with an empty object. Inside that what we can give, like, yeah, first we'll check inside that accumulator. Accumulator is an empty object, so it will check that role. If role is there, then it will assign on that, otherwise it will initialize with an empty object like this. And then we will push that user object inside that accumulator object like this, and we'll return that accumulator. Then we will add a console to console that user like this. So let's check it on that Chrome if it's working or not. Here we will inspect that inside that console. Here is the object. Let me refresh the page once. Yeah, now if you see, it's grouped based on the role. There are 2 admins and 1 guest and 2 user is there. So it's grouped by based on the roles. Here what happen is, first one is accumulator. Accumulator is lies with an empty object. So first here we are passing first one, so it will check that admin role in that object. So admin role is not there, so it will show undefined. That's why it will assign to that empty array, that role admin. It will create an array of admin. So after that we are pushing that admin, so it will pass that object inside that admin array. And after that it will check that second one, user. In that object, user role is not there inside the accumulator object, so it will also pass an empty array with the user and push that second object inside that one. Like here it's pushing first one, so similarly it will push that second one user also inside that empty object like this. Similarly it will work with guest also. Then if move on the user, then it will already role is there in that empty object, so it will directly assign to that array in that accumulator object. So let's debug on the Chrome, like how it's working. So let's open the Chrome inside source. Let's add some debug here like this. And let's refresh the page again. Yeah, now it's coming. If you hover on user, it shows like 5 object is there. So reduce, it will pass one by one. If you let me step in. Yeah, now it will check its initialize accumulator as an empty object. Nothing is added inside that accumulator, but it's an empty object. Here you can see, first it will pass the first object, user name John and role is admin. It will check inside that object role is not there, so it will pass that admin inside that accumulator array. Here if you can see admin array is there, and it will pass that first object inside that admin array, like name is John and role is admin. Here if you check, one object will be showing admin. Here if you open that, it shows like name John and role is admin. So second, it will check that second object name is to a role is user. So similarly, no user role is in that object, so it will assign to that accumulator user. If you check that like this here, it's assigned. If you step in again, it will again initialize with guest is also there. It will work with that again. If you check, user role is already there, so that object will assign in that array, user array. Let me step in that, so it will show. Yeah, if you now hover on that SCC, so it will show here user. If you click on that, there are two objects inside that users. Similarly, it would work with admin. Now if you check, there are two admins are there. So if you check on console, it will show like this. Yeah, inside object, two admin, two user, and one guest is there. Yeah, that's it.